Good morning. So what news from Uppingham as the sleepy metropolis throbs back into life? Well, we've queues snaking down the high street from Scandamania, people emerging, punching the air with their healthy juices and their cinnamon buns, which are my particular favourite. The market is thriving on a Friday, and wait for it, the best news of all. Baines will reopen next Tuesday. We can't wait. It hasn't been quite the same, Uppingham. Over the last 150 years, Baines has been the steadfast rock on which our dietary requirements have been built. And to see it reopening, as you might imagine, is bringing us a great deal of pleasure. I'm stood in front of the school's Charter of Foundation, given to us by Queen Elizabeth I in 1587. The smart among you will know that's 3 years after the school was actually founded. That's how long administration takes. It still hasn't really changed these days. And it just struck me as I stood here in front of this that Mr. Dossett's got it absolutely right. We haven't run the route this year. It's the first time that hasn't happened in, I think, living memory. And I know some of you who are really gearing up from that on a personal basis, breaking your own records, getting ahead of your best friend, even maybe winning it, Bertie Tweed. Who knows? But it didn't happen, and that's a real sadness, I know, for many of us. So Mr. Dossett has come up with a genius idea of creating a house competition this week. You'll have seen the email, and I must urge you to join in. A 5k run and a 10k bike ride. What I can tell you is that there's some real excitement here. I can see people surreptitiously feeding Mr. Matthews lots of chocolates to try and slow him down in the staff race. It's been said to me that Mr. Lang has bought himself a new pink lycra outfit to practice his cycling as he goes around to speed up. And I gather that Mr. Wilding is in his shed, feverishly spinning away in order to make sure that he is as fast as possible. But remember, it's not really about us, it's about you, the houses, and the competition in the school. So try and get out there in the next 7 days between now and next week and do those 5k runs and record them using all sorts of wonderful exercise apps like Strava and upload them, and let's see who can put in the best 5k time running and the best 10k time on the bike. It'll be nice to have some house competition, and I know out there now all of you are thinking, right, this is the year that we can do it. And now the serious bit. I think you know that I wrote to your parents on Friday with the news that I really didn't want to break, which is that we won't be able to come back in June. These have been such challenging times for our country and countries across the world, and I know how hard it must be to be in government making decisions. But I can't help think that your generation has been let down in all of this. You seem to have been the ones that haven't been mentioned, and there's no substitute for social interaction. And the fact that we can't get you back here, living and working and playing alongside each other, for me is a source of real sadness. We've worked as hard as we can to get ourselves in the position to open, but the decisions that have been made by the Department for Education and Government have put us in a position where we have no choice but to make the decision we've had. For that, I am truly, truly sorry and really very, very sad. I know we wouldn't have had those of you from overseas back. That's that's obvious, and one of those things that happens when planes simply aren't flying from one part of the world to another. At least we've had you virtually, and at least we've been able to have you alongside. And of course, when we start to come towards September, my aim is to make sure that we have our school in the position whereby we can have you all back, each and every one of you, ready to go on September the 5th for the autumn term. We're going to do everything we can so that we're not in a position where our school has to close in future, because if there's one thing I think we've all learnt over the last few weeks is, yes, we can do brilliantly online. And I'm so proud of you and your teachers and your parents for making things work in the hardest and most trying of circumstances. We've done as good a job as we can, but there's no substitute for being here. And we have to make sure as a school that we are here together, because if there's one thing that sets Uppingham apart, and one thing that I love and I'm incredibly proud of in our school, is that sense of community and mutual support. So for now we don't have that, and we can't have that in person. We can keep going online. We'll keep making the best of what we have. We'll look forward to September with a real sense of purpose. And thank you as ever for everything you've done. And let's go for it once more this week.